Welcome back to Paranormal Perspective. I'm John Lorden, and with me is
Christy.
She's going to try to convince me that the paranormal is real. What do you have for us this week, Christy?
Well, my question to everybody is, do you believe in reincarnation?
Ooh, you want to start with the question. Let's put it right to the live audience here. Do you believe in reincarnation?
I mean, that's something that a lot of cultures believe in.
Okay. Don't try to tilt the audience. Let's look.
Okay.
All right, we're going to leave that question up as you take us into today's story. So let's do it.
Okay. Well, in a lot of cultures, reincarnation is the norm. You die, you're reincarnated, you try to get it right again. It's a constant wheel that turns, right? But how about the claims from children that they can remember past lives? Because this happens a lot more than you would think.
Yep.
Now, the first one, and if you'd like to show the picture, John, this is Luke.
Sure. Let's bring up Luke here. Luke.
Isn't he cute?
Yeah, what a cute boy.
Well, at about 2 years old, he started insisting that everybody in his family call him Pam.
Okay.
And the family didn't even know anyone named Pam. There was no one in the family by that name. But as he started to grow, he would talk more and more about it. And one day he said, I used to be Pam, but I died and went up to heaven. I saw God, and then eventually God pushed me back down and I was a baby, and you named me Luke. Well, there were a lot of details that Luke started to provide to his family, and one of those was details that included that he wanted to travel on a train to Chicago. But the family lived in Cincinnati, Ohio. They'd never been to Chicago. They didn't understand why he wanted to go there so badly. But he would also say unusual things, like, when I was a girl, I had black hair, and when I was a girl, I wore earrings, and it's just something you don't expect out of a kid that young. So his mother, Erica, started to look in news reports to try and find out if she could figure out who Pam was. And she came across an article about a woman who had been killed named Pam Robinson. Pam was African American, and she was one of 19 people killed in a fire at Chicago's Paxton Hotel in 1993. Well, the family was then connected with a paranormal show called The Ghost Inside My Child. They wanted to investigate the claims themselves.
I think I watched some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Well, while they're filming, Luke was shown a full page of pictures of different African American women. And of course, first time he picks out Pam.
That's pretty strong.
As he got older, he talked about this less and less, but just unusual, You really don't expect that.
Yeah.
Now,
in the episode that we did last time, when I went looking for some information, I bumped into some aspects of this, and there was a researcher in particular, I can't recall his name off the top of my head, but basically it was kind of the point of view that he was taking with it is that they aren't really able to discount these occurrences. It's interesting to me that in this example, you have someone that they're keying into very strongly, that he thinks he's this particular person. Many times they don't even have that. They just they think it's some person from the past. It might be this name, or they have specific memories about certain features or things and stuff like that. So it's interesting to me that they actually, kind of trace this back to a particular woman named Pam. Is there anything in terms of so she dies in 93. When was Luke born?
It didn't give me those details.
We're not sure.
Article.
Okay.
Now, here's our second. And if you'd like to pull up the picture for this one.
Okay.
The picture on the left is the Pollock girls. Now, from 1946, in 1946, and then in 1951, daughters Joanna and Jacqueline were born to a happy Catholic family who lived in the market town of Hexham in England. The picture on the left is those girls. Now, the right picture is those girls.
Okay, gotcha.
Sorry, guys, I messed that up. It's the one on the right. So while their parents worked, because they had two other boys, they had these two girls, and they had a milk delivery business that they ran. While they were working, they would have the girls stay with their grandmother and they'd play and, do what girls do. But on May 5th of 1957, they were on their way to church with a friend and a car veered off the road and smashed into them. Both girls died at the scene. And the friend that drove them died on the way to the hospital.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. 11 and 6 were their ages at that time.
Terrible.
Now, this part is just a little addition, but it broke my heart. So I wanted everybody else to break with me. A woman named Marjorie Wynn was responsible for their death. She's the one who hit them. She'd been found to be intoxicated after overdosing on aspirin and the epilepsy medication phenobarbital. The woman's children had been taken away from her, and after attempting to take her own life, she was later committed to a psychiatric hospital. Her plan was to take all these pills and drive into something at high speed and kill herself. But on the way to do this, she passed out and killed 3 people.
Terrible.
I thought that was.
Yeah.
Now, despite their grief, it wasn't long before the mother Florence fell pregnant again. And on October 4th, 1958, she gave birth to 2 twin daughters that they named Jillian and Jennifer. Now, right from the beginning, they saw things that were odd. One baby would have the birthmarks of the child they had lost. The other child would, let's say, one of them had a scar on her forehead before she was killed. The new baby didn't have a scar on her forehead, but she had a birthmark in the same place that looked like the scar. Okay. They started noticing as they got older, one girl walked just like the daughter that was lost. They would latch on to toys that was specific to one child or the other. They could tell where that toy came from, who gave it to them, how they had played with it, whether it was at their house, their grandmother's house, wherever. So John, it was sad. John thought that his first 2 daughters had been taken from him because he believed in reincarnation. So when he gets these twins back in his life that he thinks have obviously been reincarnated, it brought about a crisis of faith. His wife had a huge crisis. Yeah. She was staunchly Catholic and couldn't accept it in any way. So it was a really hard time for him. Now, at one point, it was so stressful, they decided to move 30 miles away, start out somewhere new, no big deal. This was a town that they had traveled to or through with the girls before they died. So when they go there with the twins are able to tell their favorite places. Oh, that church has a playground behind it. We like to do this. And they just backed it up even more. So the family just moved back to Hexham. They were like, this isn't helping them at all. So.
Yeah, that one's so, it's almost tougher for me to think that there would be reincarnation happen in that sort of way. Because people that experience a big trauma like that will sometimes telegraph a lot of that information. They're going to be talking a lot about the loss that they've gone through. And, memories will come up, like all of a sudden they take their kids to a park. Oh, I remember, when we brought the other girls to this park. And I do believe that kids are a bit more aware than adults are in general. And I think
they're very intuitive.
Yeah, I think they're able to pick up on, first of all, the importance of that information. They see how it's emanating from the adult that they're with. So yeah, it's interesting to me. I also want to call out, I think these little girls are trying to peer into my soul right now. Maybe my screen's too big, but
aren't they like the Shining kids?
Yeah, I think Fred said something. Yeah, come play with us, Danny. Yeah. Okay.
That next picture is a picture of the twins today. They said that their parents were so hurt by the loss of their first 2 daughters that they never spoke of them. And I don't doubt that some things did come through, but they swear their parents have a hard time saying anything about those girls.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one, but there might be something to it. Just a quick note, Chris Donovan saying, if she remembers correctly, so we're not 100%, but she believes that one of these photos, the photo on the left, isn't them. It was mislabeled somehow, and now it's kind of got attached to this and is everywhere. It doesn't change the story, though. The elements of the story are still accurate. So,
will you show the next picture?
Yeah, let's do that.
And they're holding that picture.
Oh, well, then there's that.
Hopefully this wasn't a huge mistake and they've been holding this wrong picture all this time. I hope that's not the case.
No, I mean,
but
that's them, right?
Yeah.
These are hold on a second. So these are the original twins.
Mm-hmm.
These are the new twins.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the new twins later.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm following that right. Okay.
And see, a lot of the pictures that I looked at, maybe their hair color lightened up, or it was the black and white, because they get much blonder as they start to get older.
Okay, but this also doesn't, I mean, Chris might still be right, basically, because this is just a picture of the twins showing their earlier picture. It doesn't necessarily connect them to this family. So there's still a possibility that there is some internet hijinks going on with this. But we know that, separate that from the story. The elements of the story that you're telling are certainly accurate.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Now, this is Uttar Pradesh.
Are you sure this isn't Jacob? Because I've seen that face before. I've seen that expression.
Kind of looks like Jacob, doesn't it?
He's giving me a Jacob face right now. Okay. Okay.
Well, the story that I'm going to tell, I'm not going to go into Uttar's story because, seriously, there are so many reincarnation stories from India because that's an integral part of their faith. It's just accepted. Somebody, this kid will walk from one village to the other and be like, do you remember me? I was your uncle and these are my sisters. And they just accept it as a part of life.
Wow. Wow.
So this is one boy that, of course, did that. Showed up. He could identify family members, you name it.
Okay.
Now, I said all of that. Oh, there's another culture that has a lot of those, at least that had been documented in the 1800s, are Native Americans, the native tribes. They had a lot of reincarnation stories. Okay. And same thing, it was always the kids, Yeah. Now, I personally believe in reincarnation. And I'm a missionary Baptist, and we've got really strict rules on everything, and reincarnation's not one of them. But I really do believe in that. I mean, the law of conservation of energy says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Rather, it can only be transformed or transferred from one form to another. So if your soul is made up of energy like our bodies are, doesn't it stand to reason? When we die, that part of us, like 21 grams. Have you ever heard about the soul's weight of 21 grams?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that just reminds me.
I do believe in something of that nature as well. I don't know that. The thing I struggle with is that somehow knowledge from the previous life gets picked up later by a separate entity. I think, for me, like soul and spirit, like there's something that's very unique in each of us that's like an energy that kind of permeates through our expression of who we are and the things that we're interested in and the way that we make other people feel sometimes just by being around them. There's just something that it's tangible in one way, but you can never get your hands around exactly what it is in another. Like a presence, like sometimes you could just feel that someone's in the room, or someone that you're close to. Like after almost 20 years of marriage, there's times where I will literally have a thought that starts in my mind, and then all of a sudden Vera will start talking about that. Like it'll literally just start coming out. So I do believe there's something to that. I almost feel like, and this might start treading into silliness because this is coming from me in my IT background a little bit, but the way that information is stored on a hard disk, it's not like when you save a file, that whole file isn't saved in one place, at least on the old hard disks. It would, because they're spinning around. So it would basically like write part of the file here, another part over here, and another part over here, and another part over here. I almost feel like that about our energy, that there's nothing that necessarily keeps it together until we're in this type of form. But when we pass away, that it maybe happens like that. Like our energy might, get left in several different places, several different ways. And then when someone else is born, the nearest collection of energy is pulled together. And that's why you have someone that's different. you know, than the previous person was. That's kind of just my weird belief structure on it. But we have put the question to the audience. The answers have been coming in. I've been watching the percentage move around as this conversation goes on. And honestly, I consider this another win for Christy. Right now, 56% of the live viewers do believe in reincarnation. And I think even to a point where I'm struggling with that type of knowledge and how that knowledge can be relayed in other ways and maybe misunderstood that, oh, this is coming from the kid. Yeah, but you guys were talking about it. The kid overheard, you know. I certainly believe there's something to energy reuse. Like there's that is coming back in some way, and that we do have a part of that within us. So honestly, for that poll, you could put me in the true category as well. So
nice.
There we go. That was yet another paranormal perspective, and we hope you'll join us again next week, where we're going to keep putting Christy to the test. So far, I don't know, you're close to 50-50. I think we got a little leg up on one episode, but other than that, especially with this crowd, because this crowd is split right down the middle. Count that as a win.
Nice, I'm taking it.
See you guys again next time.